Buongiorno a tutti, it's Alice from Food in 3 Months. What better way is there to sound like a native than to use popular sayings and expressions? Exactly. Welcome to this video on Italian sayings. Every language has its own turns of phrase and quirky sayings, and us Italians are very proud of our aphorismi e proverbi. In this video, we'll have a look at a few aphorisms and proverbs that cover topics quite important to Italian culture. Love, friends, food, obviously, and some more. So, are you ready? Andiamo! Number 1. Il mattino Alorenboka, or the early bird catches the worm. If you're an early riser, this Italian saying is perfect for you. Il mattino Alorenboka literally translates to the morning has gold in its mouth. Does that sound strange? Yeah, but honestly, if you think about it, it's just related to productivity. What it means is whoever wakes up in the morning has the highest chances of being more productive or achieving more things, hence getting gold. Second saying, chi dorme non piglia pesci, or you snooze, you lose. Chi dorme non piglia pesci literally translates to whoever sleeps doesn't catch any fish. Does this one also sound like it doesn't make any sense when translated into English? Well, think about it. You can't expect to catch anything if you're sleeping. So you can't expect to get results if you're too lazy to work for them. Number 3. Chi trova un amico trova un tesoro. He who finds a friend finds a treasure. I once had a middle grade teacher who told me about that time when her house burnt down and she needed a place to stay overnight. Out of all the people she knew, there was one person who offered, and she actually accepted to stay with them, and she said she would have never expected them to do that, but because this person did offer, she knew they were a true friend. In the Italian saying, chi trova un amico trova un tesoro, we compare friends to treasures. Fourth saying, non tutte le ciambelle riescono col buco. Not everything goes out as planned. Do you remember at the beginning of the video when I told you we would cover several topics that are quite important to Italians? Okay, well, this is when food comes into it. So, non tutte le ciambelle riescono col buco means not every donut comes out with a hole. Funny, isn't it? A donut is supposed to look like a ring, but sometimes because something goes wrong in the cooking or preparation, the donut ends up not having a ring. Us Italians, being Italians, we were absolutely going to use food to describe an existential problem. So because sometimes there are donuts that come out without a hole, well, not everything in life goes as planned. Fifth saying, occhio non vede, cuore non duole. Out of sight, out of mind. The literal translation of occhio non vede, cuore non duole is eye doesn't see, heart doesn't hurt. Kind of sounds pretty in English. What this means is what you don't see tends to not hurt because you didn't see, so you're not aware of it. This tends to apply to love deceptions when used in Italian usually, but it can be used to talk about any deceptions really. Now I propose we move on to Latin. But why would I be talking about Latin if this video is about Italian sayings? Well, in Italy, having a basic knowledge of Latin and ancient Greek is considered as an important point in the culture. Italy is quite fond of classic studies, or studi classici, as we call them. Obviously, in everyday speech, we use some small Latin words like viceversa, or idem, or even in extremis, which some other languages also use, maybe less frequently. But we've also kept Latin sayings. I'm going to go over 2 of the most popular ones we have, and as you'll see, they're quite short, so quite easy to remember. Number 1. Repetita juvent, or repeating does good. Repetita juvent means repeating the same thing helps. This is a saying I learned from my grandfather. He would tell me repetita juvent every time I needed to study. When I got bored with my schoolwork, he would keep telling me that repeating really helps learning. Number 2. Verba volant, scripta manent. Or the words fly and the writings stay. If you want to sound very cultured, use this saying. It's a quote from a very famous speech by the Emperor Titus at the Roman Senate. I learned this saying from my father, even though he uses the Italian version more often than the Latin one, but the original one is in Latin. So in Italian, the saying would be le parole volano, gli scritti rimangono. And what this means is that spoken words can be ignored, but whatever is written will forever stay because there is written proof that it was communicated. And there you go. You now know 7 popular sayings in Italian culture. How are you going to use them? Let me know in the comments, I'd really like to know. If you're watching this video on YouTube and would like to know more sayings or would like to read more in depth about the ones I've told you about, then click on the link in the description box. It will lead you to a more detailed article on Italian sayings. In fact, there are 37 sayings in total in this article. Before you go, please leave us a thumbs up to let you know that you enjoyed the video. And if you want to stay up to date with all the language related content we post, then click on the subscribe button. Right, that's it for today, but I'll see you soon. Until next time, happy language learning. Ciao ciao!